Discuss with you about the subject, the principles of macroeconomics. And now I'm discussing about the introduction of the macroeconomics. And is the students they are aware that economics is divided into two parts. One is the microeconomics and another is the macroeconomics. Microeconomics we have already discussed in the first semester, those who remain the students of the Commerce Abdul Latif University. And I have also uploaded my lectures about the introduction of the macroeconomics. And here in second semester, we are discussing about the principles of macro. So what macroeconomics is, as the macro deals with the individuals, so the macro deals with the aggregates. So the macroeconomics is a study of the structure and performance of national economies. It deals with the national economies, the entire economies, and of the policies and the policies of the governments used to try to affect economic performance, and the policies used by the governments to affect the performance of the governments, either to improve or to control the speed of the economies. And its macroeconomics usually addresses these issues: what determines a nation's long-run economic growth. There's countries' economies, they are growing or they are not growing. And it is the requirement, or it is very necessary for the economies to grow because they need to feed to the increased population, and to improve the living standards, economies needs to grow. So the long run growth trends we will be discussing in the coming slides, and even we will be discussing as a separate lecture is business cycles, economic. When we put the economic performance or economic data of the countries for longer time periods, and vertically we write the GDP growth rate, and horizontally we write the time periods. So when we connect the dots, the dots become the hilly, just like the hilly area. The graph, when we connect the lines, dots with the line, that line maybe looks like a hilly area. Sometimes we have the high rising hills or top, and sometimes we have very low, or we have the trough like situations, ups and downs in the economic performance. So what are the factors which are determining the economic growth of any economy? That some economies are growing fast and some are growing with a very slow speed. And another point which we will be discussing in the macroeconomic lectures: what causes a nation's economic activity to fluctuate? Nation's economic activity means GDP, the total output of a country's economy. What are the factors which are causing that economic output to vary or to fluctuate, to increase or decrease? Why not we have the smooth output? What causes the unemployment? Another topic which is very interesting and which is the focus of this course, that unemployment. This is one of all the major issues. Even in COVID-like situation, unemployment is the main issue. That why people are unemployed, and what are the types of unemployment, and how unemployment affect the economy. Another topic which is very important to be discussed is every day we are discussing about the price rises. People, they are very much concerned about the prices. Even the governments, they are very much concerned, and they have to control, they have to monitor the prices. So what are the factors which are causing the prices to rise? Why prices rise? And we call that rise in the price the inflation. Then how does being a part of a global economic system affects nations' economies? Being the part of any the entire or the world economic system or the global economy, and how that membership or how that when we have the part how it is affecting our economic system or our economics performance. And another topic which we will discuss during this semester is the government policies. The issues which we have discussed, that the fluctuations in the output, the GDP's growth, total production of the country, unemployment levels, price levels, and international membership impact. When all these situations and how we control all these situations, whether we have any tool or technique to control these things or not. So governments have the options. They have different types of the policies. Through these policies, governments are affecting the outcomes, the aggregate outcomes of the economy or the country. And we have the supply side policies and the demand side policies, and we will discuss them in later classes. And as we have already discussed in the previous classes, that there are two time horizons, short run and the long run. Short run is very short time period in which only variable input can be varied, and the long run is that time period in which all the inputs they are variable. So long run economic growth of any economy, the rich nations have experienced extended periods of rapid economic growth. The rich nations like America, Japan, European countries, they have experienced an expanded upward trend or increase in their outputs, means GDP growth rates. Their economies are increasing. But the poor nations either have never experienced them, or economic growth was offset by economic decline. On the contrary, poor nations, sometimes they haven't experienced that economic growth. What is economic growth? Because they are suffering serious issues. Their economic growth has been affected by the economic decline. So when we talk about the increased output, total output is increasing because of increasing population, the number of available workers. When we talk about the GDP or the output of the country, why it increase? We assume that output of any country is increasing because the number of workers are increasing due to increase in the population. So yearly we have more population and more labor force are working people. That's why it's an automatic outcome that when you have more labor, it means they will produce more. And increasing labor productivity, another term, increasing average labor productivity. Another thing that our output is increasing because our labor is producing more as compared to their previous production, because of the education, because of the training, because of various other factors, that they are producing more. So the amount of output produced per unit of labor input means average labor productivity, how much each laborer is producing. So these are the two terms. Another term which we will be discussing during this macroeconomic course, the rates of growth. When we talk about the GDP growth, it means the rate of growth of output or output per worker. That means if suppose yesterday a worker has produced 10 pence per day, and today the same worker is producing, or the worker is producing 11 pence per day, it means the worker has produced 10% more as compared to his or her previous output level. And the rate of growth of output are determined by